Hi, family. How are you? I hope y'all are doing fantastic. I am well. I wanted to come at you with some out of this world news, okay? Where my only resource is my intuition, and I'm not always right, but I am most of the time. So, I have a few things I want to talk to you about. And first, I wanted to address the homeless issue. Homeless people are disappearing, okay? I've been keeping up on some of my homeless population in Austin and in California. And basically, what's happened is I'm pretty sure the feds are coming into town and clearing them out because all of a sudden there's black SUVs in town, brand new black SUVs. And I know of those SUVs as being the feds are in town from living up in Garberville in California. When it was harvest season, the feds showed up. Anyways, these SUVs have been seen around homeless people when they were last seen. And the last statistic I saw is pretty much overnight, over 200 homeless people had turned up missing in Austin. And they think that nobody's gonna notice, nobody's gonna care. But the thing is homeless people are, in my opinion, they're earth angels. They are free thinkers. They have not sold their soul for material. They're humble souls. And they will do anything to help you. They'll give the shirt off their back. Anyways, so this big push to get rid of the homeless after they made a big push to get rid of not just really illegal immigrants, but just immigrants. They were just looking at skin color. But anyways, this is part of their mass depopulation program. And they specifically don't like the homeless people because they are free thinkers. It's because they can see through this crap and they are not easily controlled. So they're scared of them. They think that they can somehow stop their depopulation agenda. What I'm seeing in the environment is that enlightened people have raised their vibration, their energy in such a way that it's protected. And it's always been protected. But I mean protected in the way that they can't be siphoned anymore. There's very little siphoning going on of divine beings. And what's happening is the elite, whatever you want to call them, I like to call them the space invaders. But anyways, I think of them as like soulless spider, like glob, like Jabba the Hutt looking things that they have no souls. And so to be able to live in this environment, because they're basically dead. If you have no soul, you're dead. Their vessels will not hold a soul because of all of the nastiness that they have. They're blocking me right now. Speaking of which, they're in our heads. But yeah, let me go back to that. They can't suck the energy off of divine beings the way they once could. And now they are feasting off the energy that their vampires have left. And if you think about it, once all their vampires are gone, they've got nothing else left to feast on. No life source energy. Life force energy. Which, believe it or not, the Dark Force runs on. But the Jedi Force is in control of. So, what they're doing, one of the things I wanted to talk about that they're doing right now, and they've been doing, but most people aren't aware of it, is they have a mind control program. They are in everybody's heads. Like, they detect thoughts, they detect emotions. This is a straight up AI program. It just keeps getting better and better at what it does. And when it does detect certain emotions and certain feelings, it polarizes them. It doesn't matter what position the target, you might call them, has in the first place. They're just going to polarize whatever it is. And if they have no soul, if their vessel is unable to contain divine energy, they're going to fall for it every time. They're going to think that it's their own mind telling them what it's telling them. People who have a connection to divine source energy know better. Yeah, you just know when they're not really your thoughts. They're malevolent thoughts. They're not benevolent. So anyways, yeah, that's part of what I feel is going on the world stage today, and how they are able to just do outlandish things and get people to just jump on board, because everybody is lost in this mind control program, and their thoughts and their emotions are being polarized by an AI outside source. And some special targeted individuals are being tinkered with individually, not just a blanket AI program. But on a lighter note, I've been thinking about the bells again. And do you think that maybe the bells, they don't like them, obviously. The Dark Force is not a fan of bells. They tried to get rid of them all. And in my town, there's someone in the bell tower just ringing the bells at random times. It seems like it's right in the morning, like right when some kid might be needing to get up for school, but I don't know. But it's a lot of ringing. It's not your standard, they ring the bell once for every hour it is. So anyways, but the Dark Force did make a huge effort to get rid of all the bells, and I think that it might affect their physical bodies. But I started thinking more than that. Maybe it's the egregores that it affects, the malevolent egregore. Maybe it breaks that up. It breaks that spell. Yeah, if you don't know what an egregore is yet, you should definitely look it up. I mean, it's very interesting how it's magic. It's mind magic. And it can be fed over and over again and create a groupthink, mob mentality. And it could go either way. It could be a malevolent one, or it could be a benevolent one. Maybe the bells feed the benevolent egregores. And maybe they, maybe they break up egregores, the illusions, and encourage independent thought, authenticity, that kind of thing. People using their own mind, making their own decision, picking a side, which, as you know, is fairly important in these times, especially because these are our last moments for shizzle, okay? There's another thing that I wanted to talk about, and that's this quote-unquote comet coming towards Earth, that it's being shown that it looks like it's actually got interior lights on it. I posted a video on it, but I thought right away when I heard that, I was like, the dark force is, I can tell that they're worried about an outside, like outer worldly force coming in and messing with their program. I feel like they've already been contacted and they know. But when NASA started reporting that it looks like this is more like a starship than a comet, the dark force cut off all media reports of this incoming large object, like very large object that appears to have lights that are coming from the inside. I forget like all the stuff that they were saying. You should check that video out. But like I said, I go more with my intuition than what anybody else says anyway. I've learned a long time ago, you really can't trust what people say or write. So I go with my intuition and my gut, and on this one, I really believe that the dark force has been knowing about something coming in. And I felt like I've done many readings where I talked about they're coming in. They're coming in from the outside. Like in spaceships and stuff is kind of the way I was describing it. And so, yeah, the fact that they're trying to shut this down and they don't want any coverage of this makes me think that the dark force may not have the same agenda as these visitors that might be coming in, which in my opinion is, as part of the Jedi Force, I'm very fine with. So yeah, and then there's one other thing that I saw in the clouds, and I'm gonna mention it just because a lot of the other things that I've mentioned have already happened, and unfortunately I never have a timetable on things. I hate that. I really hate that. But rather than not say something that I just saw, I'm just gonna say it. I saw Florida being covered in water from like some huge storm, hurricane, yeah. So, and I saw basically like it I don't know, almost all of just at least half of it just underwater. So I don't know if you feel the same way, but if you do and you're there, you might want to try getting somewhere else. Yeah, my disclaimer is I'm not always right, but I am right most of the time. So I think that's all I have for you right now. I have been trying to prepare something so that they couldn't like wipe me and keep on getting me sidetracked. I just kind of wanted to get a few of those ideas out there for you. I definitely feel like we have there's been a huge shift, and I'm sure you all can feel it too. It's major. We're definitely moving in the right direction. And I feel like as long as we can keep feeding an egregore of peace, love, and authenticity, and the complete eradication of the dark force, I think that that magic might help us move things along. To me, the faster the better. I'm mostly worried about the children, but that's what is being, everyone is being distracted from that. You know, let's talk about, first it's like, let's talk about the immigrants, and now it's let's talk about the homeless, and let's talk about war, all this stuff. Meanwhile, all the people that are abusing children are still active. They're still free to move about as they please. I'm seeing that they're working on some kind of an escape plan because they see the walls closing in. Like, they feel the walls closing in. So hopefully that does have a positive effect on any children that might still be affected by this little boys club. And I'm really disappointed to see some of the members of this little, I used to call them the little PP club, because when you don't have, when you're not connected to divinity, you tend to be, I don't know, they create like a lot of, maybe I shouldn't get into it. I don't want to be mean. But you get, you get the picture. So anyways, yes. I really hope that the situation for the children is getting better. And that's another thing I want to put out there. And the egregore is child safety. Innocence. Innocence saved. So, I will get back to you very soon. I love y'all so much. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.